Please welcome Shawn Fulhurty.
Thank you for that introduction, and it's an honor to be here. I'm going to walk around a little bit. I'm not big at staying put, and this is supposed to be TED style. I've never done that, and I've seen a few videos, but we're going to revise a little bit. But it's an honor to be here, and thank you for the introduction. As was stated, I'm the head of government affairs at Play and Go and served in the West Virginia Legislature since 2014 and have really championed responsible regulated gaming and responsible gaming when it comes to the regulatory process and protecting consumers. Let's talk about today responsible gambling within the structure of the brain economy. What does that really look like? Imagine a setting where we have dopamine, data, and dollars converging. And they're converging not just in the entertainment sense, but for our infrastructure, for our economic resiliency, and really building and helping power what our economy looks like, the modern economy. And when I talk about gambling, let's be clear. I know some people in this room are probably like, wait a minute, we're talking about gambling here? I didn't sign up for this. But what we're talking about is not those dark rooms or shady websites. No. We're talking about a regulated, transparent, consumer-protected, data-driven, tax-generating, regulated gambling. And it is available worldwide right now. Worldwide, regardless of whether you have laws in the books or not, it's available. Now, the black market, no protections, and we'll get into that in a second. And I'm going to give you a bit of a backstory of kind of where we're at now. May 14, 2018. Now, most in this room do not know what that is, but that was the day the music died when it came to gambling in the United States. And what happened? The Professional Amateur Sports Protection Act, known as PASPA, was overturned by the United States Supreme Court. Prior to that day, in May of 2018, fewer than 5 states were allowed to offer sports betting. Since that time, in 7 short years, we are approaching 40 states. Now, let me tell you, as a lawmaker, that is nearly impossible to pass legislation in that short amount of time for gambling expansion, which used to be something that nobody wanted to talk about as a politician. But now, nearly 40 states in just 7 short years. So what has that done? It has brought about a cultural shift. It's here, and you can't get away from it. It is everywhere. You've all seen the ads, you've heard them, especially if you're from the States in that short amount of time. You cannot get away from these ads. How many times have I seen Jamie Foxx on TV lately? I mean, he's on there about every 5 minutes, okay? But my point is, it has brought this cultural acceptance of gambling and gaming, a cultural acceptance. And why is that important? We've talked about lawmakers here and decision makers. Cultural acceptance has driven what I would call political acceptance. And part of that also includes the monetary side of this, back to the dopamine, data, and dollars. The dollars speak for themselves. 540 billion globally, incredible number. 80+ billion of government tax revenue, again, very important for lawmakers and decision makers. Over 1 million jobs worldwide in the gaming space. It's an incredible number. Incredible number. And there's your celebratory politician, because this cultural shift through public acceptance has now turned into political acceptance. It used to be years ago, running gaming legislation or expanding gambling in any form was something that politicians were scared of, in large part because the public, it didn't poll so well. Those days are gone. And I want to give a bit of a backstory. This creative photo that I have up there is your smiling politician with ribbon cuttings. We know that politicians love ribbon cuttings, right? Even here in Alberta, raise your hand if you're familiar with Bill 48. My man Troy Ross back there, Paul Burns, the head of the CGA, they're familiar with Bill 48. And this is why when Dr. Iyer says that we should have all sectors available, everybody pulling the rope, that's exactly why. Because if you're in this room, you need to know Bill 48. That's online iGaming expansion in Alberta. It's coming. And your input is needed because we want a regulated environment. And I have to announce that red tape there, the ribbon cutting, Minister Nally is heading that up. You know what his government title is, Minister Nally? The greatest government title I've ever heard of. The Minister of Red Tape Reduction. So we're celebrating the red tape right there being reduced by expanding gaming legislation, which we're going to see here in Alberta. Now, the brain economy, where does this really fit in? Like, we're talking about gambling. Where does this fit in? I've heard incredible discussions here today. Well, gambling, especially these days with technology, it's powered by attention, emotion, and behavior. It's digital, decision-based, and data-intensive. In this new economy, the brain economy, regulated gambling is not just entertainment, it's an entire ecosystem. One that blends technology, behavioral science, financial analytics, and policy innovation. As Dr. Iyer said previously today, we're here for this discussion because we belong, no longer in the shadows or in the background, but at the forefront. We're wired for risk. Now, I was sitting watching just the discussion today and all these incredible individuals and just the intelligence in this room. At the core, we're all gamblers. Everybody in this room is a gambler. Now, many of you will say, I'm not a gambler. I've never even done that. I won't even have a scratch off. Well, guess what? You're very educated. When you decided to go to college, choosing that college was a risk. When you decided on what career you wanted to go into, that was a risk. Risk is not a bug in the system. It's the feature that drives human progress. That risk, you knew there was a reward at the back end of it. That's what's driving all of us today. Regardless of whether you're directly gambling, you are still at your core a gambler. Let's talk about regulated versus unregulated. As I said earlier, gambling is available everywhere in every jurisdiction, regardless of whether there's a direct law on the books or not. Now, what regulated gambling brings us, consumer protections. And that's where you all come in, because you all can help drive what those protections look like. Tax revenue, you saw the numbers off the charts. We have control over what happens. If you are gambling on a device, your mobile phone, and you are all of a sudden betting more money, well, guess what? We can flag that in a regulated market. We can stop you from moving forward. We can correct it. We can identify addictive behaviors. And in an unregulated market, not only are they not paying any taxes, they're not looking for any addictive behaviors and trying to treat them. They're not looking to perform entertainment models. They're looking to get as much money as they can. That's what an unregulated market does. We're talking about a regulated one. So that's the true difference maker, is regulation. When we regulate gambling, we don't just mitigate harm, we optimize potential. We set standards, protect consumers, we detect fraud, and leverage that data that's available to us to prevent addiction. So the choice is pretty clear. Either we can regulate and be safe, or remain unregulated and be dangerous. This data that is available to us in the brain economy, that's the new currency. It's really the new currency going forward, is this data available. And how does that work? Let's talk about the gambling technology available. Today's sports books, you saw the ads earlier, you've seen them ad nauseum. They are the tech companies, the casino floors, or the AI laboratories, and the iGaming platforms, when we're talking about Bill 48 in Alberta and other places with online casinos. They are more sophisticated in user behavior than social media apps. I think everybody in this room knows how much social media apps know about you, but the online gaming industry has the technology to know even more. How can we convert that to the new currency, which is data available to us in the brain economy? And that includes things like blockchain transparency, machine learning for fraud and addiction, and it parallels with fintech and health tech, education tech. But yet, it's never really part of the conversation. And that's what we're trying to change here today, is that regulated gambling needs to be at the same table as these other industries. These are short TED Talks, so I'm only getting 7 minutes with you, and I want to close on a few things. As moving forward, part of what needs to happen and why we are involved here today is that it's not productive to continue to look at gambling in a regulated sense as a vice. Look at it as a vision. Structured risk, the risk I talked about earlier, That's economic strategy. Safe regulation equals safer citizens. And policy, as a lawmaker for a decade now, policy must evolve. And we evolve with the data available to us and the experts who can report to us on what the data shows. That's where you all come in. We can't retreat from it. In the brain economy, the biggest gamble is standing still. So what do we do next? Where do we go? Well, it's been an honor to be here, not just today, but yesterday we had many people from various areas, whether it be health experts, professors, people from the industry. We're coming together. We're at the ground floor now. We're having these discussions. These discussions will come to fruition. We have a select committee, which I am proud to chair. And we're going to come up with policy recommendations, responsible gambling initiatives, public health responses to the future of what this looks like with policy. And I'll tell you, at Play and Go, a company that I'm proud to work for because we truly put people first, a bit of a model that we use, a motto that we use, is that the model going forward, we want to put people first. Entertainment should not come with an increase in addiction, and the pursuit of profit should not come at the expense of people. That's how we operate at Play and Go. That's what we believe a sustainable model looks like going forward, one that puts people first, and a sustainable model is one that's entertainment and does not just simply look to profit off the backs of individuals. Thank you for your time.